How's it going, guys? It's Van Dyke, and today this is my rod and reel arsenal video. And so today I'm gonna be telling you what type of rods I use, and pretty much what type of reels I use, and what I use the rods and reels for. Like if I use them for Texas rig, Carolina rig, wacky rig, and stuff like that, and for different like crankbait setups and stuff like that. So let's get right into this video, and the intro starts right about now. How's it going, guys? I'm back, and so today I'm going to show you my rods and reels, which all four are right here. I broke some. This one right here was my first rod that I've ever used, but last year I started fishing, so I'm going to start first with the Shimano FX, and the reel that it has on it is the Shimano Casitas. And I gave it a little bit of a paint job, that's why it's white. It's originally black, but I'm going to show you guys. This rod is originally a spinning rod, except I put a baitcaster on it because I really felt like putting a baitcaster on it. But it's a very, very smooth reel. I would definitely recommend it for either for your second baitcaster or maybe even third. Not for your first. I'll show you later what you should get for your first baitcaster. But this is my first baitcaster. I already tried it out, so that is why I have it. And so, yeah, let's talk a little bit about the rod. This is a medium heavy rod. I mostly use this for probably, I'd say, my Texas rig setups and all my rig setups, like football jig. I use it also for the jig setups too, not only that. But I use it for rigs, so let's get my other rods. So let's put this one back in. Another baitcaster. This is another one. I would definitely not recommend this for your first. Keep that in mind, as I just said. Not recommend this for your first baitcaster. It is the Quantum Advantage Pro, and this rod looks like a light, a medium light rod. So this is this baitcaster is very, very nice. I use this rod mostly for my jerk baits because this is a nice fast action rod, and that's what you need for your jerkbaits. So I mostly use it for jerkbaits. Sometimes I'll use a rig on it or something, except nothing else but pretty much jerkbaits and deep diver jerkbaits, and also deep divers. Anything that needs fast action on it, I will use this rod and this reel for that. Put this back. Okay, this baitcaster is the baitcaster that is the only one that's rigged up right now. This is the Quantum Invade well, not rod and reel. I decided to put a different rod on it. It is the Proton, South Bendo Proton, and this is the Quantum Invade reel, and this is the one that I would recommend for your first baitcaster. It's cheap, and it's a very, 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 very good rod. I mean, a very, very good reel, not rod. But this rod is a medium heavy rod. This is what I use for my crankbaits and mostly heavier stuff. I use it for jigs, and I use it for crankbaits. I use it for I use it for some deep divers, not much. I use it for mostly my walleye deep divers, and stuff like that. So let's pull out the next rod. And this is the Shimano FXS rod and reel. This is probably one of my only spinning combos. I have the Zebco Legacy on it. I'm probably going to switch it out with the Shimano soon, but I'm going to keep the Zebco on for now. I'm trying to get more brand name stuff and get rid of the Zebco stuff, but this rod is very, very good for down rigging boats. Okay, I would not recommend using this for on land fishing. Okay, I'm never going to recommend this for on land fishing. Mostly for downriggers or if you're in a very, very deep river, or you're fishing off of a pier and stuff like that. So this would be my go-to for probably pier fishing, catching muskie, catching sturgeon. This would be my go-to rod. Probably not the reel would be the best idea. I'd recommend getting a musky reel for this rod. That's just what it's for. And stuff like that. So I'm going to pull out my next rod. I do have a reel that goes with it, except I do not have it on right now, so. Now guys, this is my first rod that I ever got. I do not have a reel on it right now. I don't have the original reel. I just decided to put a different reel onto it, except pretty much this rod I would use it for. It is same as the baitcaster back there, the Quantum Advantage Pro. It's a medium light rod. It is a very, very fast action, mostly for jerk baits and rigs and stuff like that. Like very, very sensitive. It's a very, very sensitive rod, as you can see. Like it is not the best for fishing off the pier. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Not the best for fishing off the pier. Fishing off the pier with this thing would very, very, very much suck. A lot. This is a very, very good rod if you're fishing in rivers, okay? I put a baitcaster on the short grip rods is because I don't have any more rods. I broke one from a fish. I'm pretty sure it was a pike. I don't know what type of fish it was. Except, so I'm going to put this back. Now I'm going to show you guys what each rod is not very, very good. Not good for. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay. Number one is the Shimano Casitas with the Shimano FX rod. And so the Shimano Casitas is more of a bass fishing, like all baitcasters are pretty much for bass fishing. You can get some like walleye pike stuff for these types of reels and stuff like that, except this is mostly for bass fishing, and this is a medium heavy rod, so you can fish off of piers and stuff like that, except it's not like, if you catch a big fish, then I'd recommend cutting your line, depending on what type of fish it is, because you can catch sturgeon off piers and stuff like that, and muskie sometimes, except it all depends on where you live and how deep your river is and stuff like that, except mostly for bass fishing. You can catch like perch and stuff on this thing. I have personally not caught any perch on this thing. I caught it on the rod that is broken now, the Zebco Legacy. It is a very good rod. Sadly, it broke, and yeah, so that means I just use this as a replacement, and it's very, very good. It's a lot better than the Zebco was, but I really do miss the Zebco because my grandparents got me it. But this rod is pretty much good for anything, just do not catch giant, giant, giant fish with it, okay? That's what you use the Shimano FX for. Okay, next is the Quantum Advantage Pro. Now, this thing is pretty much bad for anything except catching bass. This is not the type of rod and reel you would want to catch, probably, I would even say a pike. Like, even pike are too heavy for this reel. Catfish, no carp, you can't catch any of that. Because this rod will break. I caught a smallmouth the other day with this, and the rod was probably bending, like, I'd say about this much. Not when it was fighting. That's when I pulled it out of the water. It was just bending. Bending, bending, bending. And that's when I caught probably, I would say, about a 3-pound smallmouth, which is, it's pretty big, not the biggest I've caught, and I was probably a 5-pound smallmouth I caught, except this rod is not good for heavy stuff. Okay. Next is the Proton. Now, the Proton, aka the rod with my Quantum invade on it. This rod is the same as the Shimano FX. You can catch like pike on it, and you can catch catfish on this stuff. Except the thing is that this rod cannot catch giant fish. That's what you use the Shimano FXS. But this rod is very, very good. I love it. I've almost caught a few fish on it. They all broke off right at the end, but that's unfortunate. But this rod is the exact same as the Shimano FX, and yeah, I definitely recommend this rod. Okay, next is the Shimano FXS. Shimano FXS. This is not a rod to fish in the river. Downriggers only. Downriggers only. Okay, so yeah, this rod's just pretty much for downriggers only, and maybe off a really deep pier. Like, I can't really tell you guys how much this is not for this is not for rivers. This is no river fishing setup. I need to get a proper reel for this, like a musky reel, except I can't right now because I spent all my money on tackle. And so yeah, let me show you guys the last rod. Okay, so as you guys remember, the Quantum, the Zebco, this rod is pretty much, this is the exact same as the Quantum Advantage Pro. Exact same as the Quantum Advantage Pro. Do not use this for any, like, large fish. As I said, it will probably break, except use this for bass. Small mammoth bass fishing with this thing is really, really good. And, yeah. So, yeah, that was a great video. So if you guys haven't already, please hit the subscribe button for more fishing tips and tricks. And Huron will be in the next video. It will maybe be his rod and reel, showing like all of his rod and reel arsenal video. And so I'll see you in the next banger. Have a good day.